Is
Amanda.
Well, hi everybody. Happy first meeting of the new Rotary year. I am honored to be your president this year. Deb and I, as a reminder, are kind of co-presidenting. We did a handshake, but not really. She'll be lockstep with me as we go forward in this year. So, as a reminder, before we start with Dave this week, next week is district governor's meeting. He'll be joining us. Board members, he sent out a few questions. I would like to schedule something prior to the meeting on Tuesday. I'll send out an email sometime tonight just to talk through those questions that he has. Make sure we're all on the same page. We got to at least have the right answer, the same answer. It doesn't have to be the right answer, it just have to be the same answer. I would like to start by asking if we have any happy bucks from anybody to share.
I got a happy buck.
Go ahead, Rob.
I've been without electricity for 2 days and just got power back this morning.
Was that storm that came through on Sunday when I was driving back home from Michigan?
That was the one.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, I'm glad you got power back. As I came down 15 into from Frederick, there were no lights on 15, so that was fun.
Mhm.
I'm glad you got power back. Yes, go ahead, George.
I know. Well, I just came back from a week trip to Glacier.
How was
That
that?
was, oh,
I'm,
that
I'm
was
looking forward.
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to you presenting as one of our speakers coming up here and showing us all your pictures.
Oh, I love to steal pictures. But but going to the Sun Road wasn't open at the summit. So we had to go from the west side as far as we could and then from the east.
Nice. Well, welcome
Yeah.
back. And hopefully you had a great time. I just did a cannonball run up to Michigan. I left on Thursday night, came back on Saturday morning. And
Oh,
it was funny. My grandparents' cabin was one of the first in the 70s to have a satellite dish. I think there was a satellite dish before there was a true indoor bathroom at that cabin. And they've had Starlink since it was commercially available, and everything went down this weekend. I don't think I've been that disconnected since like 1987. All right. Any other happy bucks to share,
George,
Jerry?
just follow up with George. Rory and I in 2018 went through went through their glacier there at on July 4th, and
ah,
that summit had just opened the day before, so from the
well,
snow, and there was good snow still on both sides of that road. I'll tell you that. I'll do a happy
my
buck.
story is
Go ahead.
my story is slightly different. It opened the day after we got back home. But then it closed again in 2 days because of flooding.
Well,
I
I
guess
was
I
on
don't know
that
where it
one.
gets flooded, but the road opened on Monday and closed again on Wednesday. So it
Well, I
may
was
be
on
open
that
now.
one, and then I was on a pass up by Denali. First time I was in Alaska, this is going back 22, 23 years ago. And that one closed right behind me. It was dicey coming down that mountain, I'll tell you that. That was and I was in a big GMC Escalade or whatever, but it four-wheel drive the whole bit, and it was dicey coming down that thing. My happy buck is I just got
So,
back from Iowa, my 50th class reunion, and I'm in a whole lot better shape than a lot of those people.
50th kindergarten reunion, right, Jerry?
Yeah, right.
Well, nice. Welcome
um,
back.
I I
I
also got myself a BMW F800 GS.
Nice.
So
Nice.
That's a little bit of an upgrade there, George.
it's a little bit of a step up, yes.
Yeah.
So you got both of them?
No, I traded in my Kawasaki at 23,000 miles in 2 years. So,
I've got a fantastic 2012 Goldwing that you might be interested in.
No, he
that may
wants
be a
he
little
wants a
too big for me.
2018. He wants a 2018 Himalayan. Stop it. I'm gonna get this Himalayan pawned off on somebody eventually. Oh, all right. Well, I want to say welcome to
Can,
Roy and
but I
Sam
have
as
a,
well as
can I get
guests.
a, can I get a complimentary happy buck?
Of course you can.
Fantastic. So my happy buck is congratulations to the Argentinian football team. I called Buenos Aires home and it was a fantastic game today.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was a comeback.
Oh
We
yeah.
definitely were not watching it all day long in the kitchen instead of doing work. Roland, did you have something to share?
Yes, I have a happy buck. I came back from a 3,000-mile solo ride around the Great Lakes
Oh,
in eight
cool.
days. Wonderful, wonderful time and lots of miles.
That's awesome, Roland. That is awesome. Maybe we should have a meeting where we just talk about all the rides we've been doing so we can share our tips and tricks and any good routes that we got to share. Well, again, thank you very much for being here, Dave. Thank you, Sam and Roy, for joining us tonight as well. If we don't have any additional happy bucks, I will go ahead and introduce Dave, unless Jerry, you would like to do that.
Um, I forgot who it was recommended him to us. Roland, was it you?
Well, I can cheat here and I can cheat and
Mark
pretend like I've known
Mark
Dave forever.
Ward.
Mark Ward. Okay, Mark had
Yes.
recommended. That's right.
Well then,
Okay.
well then I will do this. Dave and I have been acquainted for quite a long number of minutes, and so I am happy to introduce Dave Lovely, who is joining us. He's his speaker tonight. He is the inspiration. He's going to be talking about inspiration from the seat of a motorcycle. Dave was born and raised in Olympia, Washington. He spent a year of high school as an exchange student in Japan. Regretfully, not a Rotary Exchange student, but he fixed that with his own kids. He obtained a Bachelor of Arts from the International Christian University in Tokyo, Japan, majoring in business administration, and many years later obtained an MBA from the University of Washington. Most of his working career has been in the travel industry. He ran a cruise-only travel agency, worked as the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line's international sales director for Asia, founded a software company that developed travel agency-focused software, and was a director of cruise product for Expedia. Speaking to my heart, Dave, I booked a cruise last night. Dave has been a Rotarian on and off for 40 years and is a current member of another club. Having been a member of 6 different clubs in 4 different districts, his primary interest has been the Youth Exchange program, which I appreciate as a former exchange student myself. He's lived in Japan, Canada, and mostly recently Argentina. He speaks fluent Japanese, is working to get better at his Spanish, which I'm sure will come eventually here if you're living in Buenos Aires. And he has two grown daughters and 4 grandkids. Is married to his beautiful Argentinian wife. 11 years ago, Dave quit his job and started his quest to travel to every country in the world, and to date has visited 160 countries, of which he did 100 on his motorcycle. So, with that, Dave, again, welcome, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm taking just a minute to set up, make sure I can share my screen with you.
If you
And
are sharing a video, when you share, there's a button on there that says share sound.
yes, I have selected that, so you should get sound. Um, and you should, I just set this for side by side, so I can't see what you see, but can you see half the screen with my slide and half with me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Glad to know that. And then I'm just gonna hide, whoops. Okay. Just trying to optimize my screen so I can see what I'm doing. See if I can get rid of that there. Okay. All right. Well, good day, Rotary Club of Motorcycling Rotarians. Didn't ever think that would come out of my mouth, but it is awesome. So we'll jump right in. Let's go on a short journey together. I want to invite you to come with me to a nearly empty and dimly lit alleyway amongst the busy streets and hustle and bustle of Tokyo, Japan. Not modern day Japan. Whoops, I'm sorry, I just noticed my slides. I didn't advance the test. Okay. Ah, so not modern day
Dave,
Japan. Yes.
the slide image is really small. So
Oh, is it? Okay, let me
yeah.
try to make that bigger then. See if does that help?
Nope.
No.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. There you go. That's better. Much
Okay.
better. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you for pointing that out. Um, okay. So, not modern day Japan, but the Japan of 1976. Walking towards you, you see a young man, but something seems out of place. He's not sure of himself, as a kid familiar with his neighborhood would be, nor is he Japanese. That youngster is me, having just turned 15 years old. I'm in a foreign country for the first time. I'm alone, and the adventure of finding my way back to my host family's house alone after visiting a friend might as well have been a trip to the moon. At that moment, I feel completely alive. Every sense is working in overdrive. That feeling of relying completely on oneself and the accomplishment of finding my way is one that has never left me. That adventurous spirit in me as a 15-year-old boy only grew over time until I hit the age of 53 when the force became so great that I quit my job, sold everything, bought a motorcycle and a bag, and took off to conquer the world. Over some years and countless kilometers of traveling, I learned and relearned many life lessons that have been an enlightenment for me, leading to a happier, more fulfilling life. Today, I would like to share those lessons I learned in the hope of inspiring you to take a journey of your own to a happier, more fulfilling life. Just pause as I change the slide there. Thank you. So, lesson one, lend a helping hand. I'm often asked, do you travel alone? And for the most part, yes. My adventure travels, I do. But to say I am alone would be far from the truth. I had never ridden a motorcycle prior to departing Olympia, heading south to the southern tip of Argentina. So I was still a novice when I reached a washed out bridge in a desolate part of central Mexico. Off to the side, there was a where makeshift road through a now dry riverbed. Being the novice that I was, I naively started down that road without checking its condition first, only to find out that the so-called road was made up of wet clay. After 100 meters, my tires were caked in mud, and the bike might as well have been on pure ice. After some swerving, down went the bike along with me. I hadn't seen a car in over half an hour. Obviously, the locals knowing the road was washed out and the makeshift road nearly impassable. I couldn't pick up the bike. It was too heavy, even in the best condition. But wallowing around in muddy clay, not a chance. I was now desperate. But much to my surprise, only 10 minutes later, two cars approached from the opposite direction. What a stroke of luck! But would they stop? My heart was pounding. As they pulled up alongside me, they did stop, both cars, and despite some hesitation, the two drivers got out to help, while their wives looked on, undoubtedly cursing the already muddy shoes and trousers of their husbands. The three of us got the bike up, and I inched it precariously back towards safety, taking 30 minutes to cover the length of one football field. Both cars inched along with me just to make sure I made it back to the safety of pavement, which I did. Then, with a simple wave of the hand, they were off, never to be seen again. It is only one example out of 1,000 where strangers lent me a helping hand. I could never have made it around the world without the help of countless strangers. To make it through life, it takes the help and goodwill of family, friends, colleagues, strangers, and may I dare say, Rotarians. Accept help along your journey, and as you too are each of those, actively seek out opportunities to help others selflessly. Lesson two, don't believe everything you think you know to be true. Many years after Iran was declared to be part of the axis of evil, it stood in my way as I traveled east from Europe to Asia. Could I actually travel through Iran? Wouldn't it be dangerous? After all I had heard about Iran was that it was evil and an enemy of the United States, and by inference, any American daring to travel through, right? The truth could not have been further from the truth. To date, I have traveled to 160 countries, and I can say without hesitation that Iran was the friendliest country of all. The people there were incredibly welcoming, warm, generous. One of the coolest things about traveling by motorcycle is that you end up traveling through places that tourists just don't go. In Iran, I met so many people who had never seen an American before. Yet learning that I was an American, the first thing they would tell me is that they loved America. By the end of each day of riding, I had accumulated so much fruit and candies that I had nowhere to put it all. I had to turn down multiple offers each day from people inviting me to stay in their home. So many opportunities are lost due to unsubstantiated fear. If I had succumbed to all the half-truths I was taught, I would have missed out on the amazing experience that was Iran. To make it through life, don't accept everything you've heard and don't succumb to preconceived notions. Get out and explore your world with an open mind and learn your own reality. And I just want to interject here. This is the first time I've given this presentation since the U.S. started the war with Iran. So it feels a little strange. But this was my experience, and I just hope it's not ruined. It was a fantastic experience for me. Lesson 3, cherish the moment. I really want to relive not only the motions, but the emotions of my past experiences. I've had some great ones. Sometimes that desire is so strong it hurts, but I've learned that it is not possible. This has taught me to cherish the moment because I know those moments can never be repeated. If you're going to get from here to South America continent by vehicle, you have to find a way across the Darien Gap, an unpassable swampland that separates Panama from Colombia. The way us motorcycle riders do it is by sailboat. When planning my route, I researched this and made a reservation on the only boat I could find, the 105-year-old sailing vessel, the Stall Rat. At that point in time, I thought of it as transportation, a means to an end. But lo and behold, it turned out to be one of the most memorable experiences of my life. Imagine 20 of us motorcycle riders, all strangers to each other, all strangers to each other from all over the world, yet sharing the same adventure and passion of riding a motorcycle from the top of North America to the bottom of South America. On a remarkable day in December 2014, we all arrived at the same spot at the same time, a dilapidated pier jutting out into the pristine Caribbean Sea at San Blas, Panama, and the Stall Rat tied up alongside. We spent the next 5 days together sailing through the San Blas Islands and on to Cartagena, Colombia. Unforgettable experiences were shared and lasting friendships were made. Many times since that adventure, I've dreamt of doing it again. I just want to relive that experience, and I would give anything to be able to do so. But the fact is, I can't. For one thing, the boat has been sold off to Europe, has been sold and sent off to Europe. But even if it hadn't been, the people I would share the experience with would undoubtedly be different. And I am different. I am the culmination of all my life experiences, and I can't ever go back to being the person I was then. What I know now is that throughout that experience, I did not take time out to make a mental note of the value of the moment. In other words, to appreciate it. What I've learned is that the very heart of appreciation is the appreciation of the moment. Now I make a point at least once a day to make a mental note of the appreciation I can find in that day. So to get through life and have it be more fulfilling, take time to appreciate the moment in the moment. Lesson 4, challenge yourself. When I started my adventure, I had no clue of the challenges that lie ahead. Maybe if I had, I wouldn't have gone. Perhaps I thought the adventure was going to be fun, but I soon learned that it could not be described as such. Instead, it could only be described as a challenge. Every day was an immense challenge, and it is that challenge that I fell in love with. It was like an overdose of adrenaline each day. I could tell 1,000 stories of challenges I faced, but I'll share with you just one for now. I had been to many, many extremely desolate places around the globe by the time I got to Mongolia, but that did not prepare me for what lay ahead. As usual, I was riding solo, not thinking anything of it. But on the fourth day of travel, I found myself so completely alone, I was afraid. Not only was I alone, but I was lost. It was 2 p.m. and I had not seen another living soul since leaving my Gur camp at 8 a.m. that morning. Based on my GPS, I was still 3 hours from the nearest town and my destination for the day. But I was also not on any track to take me there. I had been forced off course by wet ground and I needed to avoid. Eventually, I had no choice. I had to cross the wet area to have any hope of getting back on course. I found an area that appeared drier than most, so I picked my spot and went for it. Halfway across, the bike sank in the mud and I was stuck. I couldn't get it to move. Petrified, I began to panic. I was totally exposed on a large open plain. The sun was beating down on me and I was sweating like a pig. I had to get a hold of myself and come up with a plan. There was definitely no help coming. It was all on me. It dawned on me to try to lighten the bike. That meant carrying my bags one at a time to the far side through the thick mud. After 20 minutes of this, I was exhausted. It was finally time to try to get the bike to move. I turned on the ignition, prayed, and slowly let out the clutch. It moved. I made it to the other side and reloaded the bike, but the day was getting on. I was still off course and not sure how to pick up the track again. The ordeal was not yet over, but eventually I did make it to the town, and just before dark, I checked into the only guest house there. That night, there was a huge windstorm, and the temperatures plummeted below freezing. I had dodged a bullet. To make it through life, challenge yourself and believe in yourself. Challenge yourself to do things that scare you, that make you uncomfortable, that push you to your limits. Because when you challenge yourself, you discover your true potential. You'll be surprised at what you can do and be stronger for it. Lesson 5, patience. Stress is a major source of unhappiness, and there are many sources of stress. Until taking off on my adventure, I'm not sure I recognized that impatience was a huge source of stress for me. With the demands of everyday life, it was so easy to feel there was never enough time. I was always in a rush, and it impacted how I reacted to people around me and how I responded to situations I encountered. Always trying to find more time, I was a very impatient person. But nothing I was used to dealing with came close to the demand on my patience I encountered while traveling around the world on my motorcycle. Let me just say that border crossings are one of the most stressful situations one encounters traveling overland internationally. Each one has a potential for disaster. When I got to Central America, my patience was put to the test. I quickly learned why motorcyclists would say, "It's a border crossing day." It's because it literally takes all day to cross a border in Central America. The borders are chaos. There are no queues, just a bunch of people pushing their way to the front. The one or two officers working would simply get up and leave, not a word as to when they'd be back. Were they going to be gone for a 5-minute potty break, or were they going on a 2-hour siesta? In my case, it always seemed to be the 2-hour siesta. And not speaking the language made it impossible to get reliable information. Not that there was any to be had anyway. Each time, the hope of a quick clearance diminished quickly as the ordeal turned into hours. The first couple of borders I crossed, I was hopelessly impatient. I couldn't accept the chaos. How could it possibly be this way? But it was. And the sooner I accepted that, the better off I'd be. And I did. I learned to be patient. It was the way it was, and what a relief I felt when I just accepted it. Of all the lessons I learned, the one of patience may have made the most difference in my day-to-day life. To make it through life, I can assure you that the more patience you can muster, the happier you will be. This lesson must come with a word of warning, however. For me, anyway, it is the easier lesson to forget, or at least to forget to practice. How are we doing? Everything coming through okay?
Yep, doing great. Thanks, Dave.
Doing
Great.
good.
Okay. Lesson 6, compassion. Throughout my travels, I saw acts of compassion and numerous times received the compassion of a stranger that saw me struggling and in need. On one occasion, after 8 months of travel, and on my last day on the road in South America, I was 2 hours from Buenos Aires, Argentina, when I got in a serious crash. With 2 broken bones in my leg, I found myself laid up in a hotel awaiting surgery before I could be flown back to the US. 2 days before my surgery, I was sitting by the hotel pool with a temporary cast on my leg, crutches by my side, and I hadn't cut my hair in 8 months and hadn't shaved in nearly a week. Needless to say, I looked pretty pitiful. And as luck had it, sitting near me by the pool was a local lady enjoying a spa day on her day off from work. She took one look at me, and instead of running away, she showed me selfless compassion. Seeing my condition and realizing I couldn't speak Spanish to save my life and was alone in a foreign country, she came over to me and asked if she could get me an apple and something to drink in much appreciated English. To make a long story short, she offered to visit me in the hospital on Easter Sunday, the day after my surgery. I didn't know it at the time, but she is Catholic. Easter is a very important day to her and one always spent with family. In addition, her father was ill and it would be his last. Yet she came anyway and spent 2 hours with me. She even got the hospital to bring me some food more suited to my taste. Over the next week, as I recuperated enough to fly home, she met me each day after work to take care of me, including a trip to the barber so I'd look somewhat normal upon my return to family and friends. I ended up marrying that lady, and to this day I have never met a person more naturally compassionate than my wife. What I learned from my experiences is that I was the recipient of compassion more than I ever gave out, and that weighed heavily on me. I'm sad to say that it does not come as naturally to me as I would like. So it is work. But I now strive to be better at being a compassionate person. To make it through life and feel more fulfilled, show compassion for others. Lesson 7, take one day at a time. One of the comments I often get when somebody hears my story is, "Wow, that is incredible. What an amazing accomplishment," or something to that effect. My response is always the same. I didn't know what I was doing. I simply got up each morning, got on my bike, rode 100 or several hundred kilometers, got off my bike, went to sleep, and got up the next morning and did and repeated the process. Not many given days stood out to be extraordinary, but when I stop and look back at my journey in totality, even I find myself thinking, wow. So, to make it through life, take it one day at a time, live in the moment. Each day may show little progress, but at some point, you can take a moment, look back on your entire journey, and think, wow, that was truly amazing. So, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. And on a side note, I would like to make an advertisement of sorts. I'm writing a series of over 10 books about my adventures. Each book has about 20 pictures along with stories that go along with them. 5 of these books are completed at this time and are available for purchase on my website. The proceeds from the sale of the books will be donated directly back to your club to support your service projects. And you can share the QR code with friends and family, and any purchases they may make can be directed to the club as well. So it is a chance to raise some real money for the club. With that, thank you very much for having me as your speaker today, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there's time.
We got a full half hour for questions. You're not getting out of it that easily, Dave. Thank
Okay.
you very much. I really appreciate this. I'm you're you're giving us all the itch. I think this is what happens. We're all gonna just quit our jobs and go ride motorcycles. Uh, so you said I heard loud and clear. You said Iran was the friendliest people that you ran across.
Yeah.
What's your favorite country overall that you've been to? Can you name a
Well,
favorite?
it's obviously a question I've received before, so I'm not surprised by it. And it's really not a country. It's actually my favorite place is the Antarctic. So after getting to Ushuaia, Argentina, I was in the perfect place to catch uh, a cruise down to the Antarctic, and it's just incredible.
How was your passage? Was it uneventful?
It was uneventful. I mean, I was the only one in the dining room. I have a stomach of steel, but for me, it was just fine.
That's one of the cruises I've been looking at, and I'm like, man, I think I can do it, but man, I don't know.
It's wonderful.
Question.
George,
Yeah. So, Dave, did you take your bike around the world?
Yes, I have a Triumph Tiger Explorer XC, which is a 1200, and yeah, after I rode from Seattle to Ushuaia, then flew the bike to Germany, and then picked up the bike in Germany, and I did every country in Europe in another. So the first leg from here to Seattle to Ushuaia was like 8 months. Europe was about 6.5 months to do every country. And then I went from Germany to Vietnam, and that took another 8 months.
So you rode through all the countries in between to get to Vietnam.
Oh yes, yes. If your
Yeah.
good geography is good, like pick it up from Turkey. You go from Turkey to Georgia,
Right.
then Armenia, back to Georgia, then up to Azerbaijan. I took a trip up into Chechnya, Russia too, from there. But then I went from Azerbaijan into Iran, then Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, uh, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, back to Tajikistan, then up to oh, I forgot Uzbek. Did I say Uzbekistan? I probably skipped that. Anyway, all those stands, and then over to India and Myanmar, which I don't think you can get through anymore, but my timing was right. So yeah, and then on over to Vietnam. So
were there any countries
Wow.
you were hoping to get to but were unable to get to, or just
Well,
unexpectedly unable to get through?
yes, Pakistan. I ended up having to fly my bike from Almaty, Kazakhstan to Delhi, India because um, we could not get a visa for Pakistan. They wanted me to come back to the US to go to the embassy in the US the to get the visa. And I tried in many countries. I tried in Azerbaijan, I tried in Turkey, went to all the embassies trying to get one of them to say yes, but I could not. And they blamed the US on that because they said the US requires Pakistani citizens to go to their home country or to their home country, the embassy in Pakistan. So they said it's a reciprocal thing.
Uh, one more question. So, did you get all your travel permits or paperwork done before you started? I heard Pakistan wasn't there, but or did you take it one at a time as you approached?
Impossible, impossible. You know, you learn patience. You just do it as you go because a lot of them, especially through Central Asia, very hard. Like you get the visa, you can only get the visa at an embassy that is in a bordering country to the country. So, like for Iran, you can't get it in Turkey. You have to get it in Azerbaijan. Or Turkmenistan, obviously, for me, it was Azerbaijan. So, and then it's only good for 30 days after they put it in your passport. So no, you have to go and yeah, it takes a lot of patience. Sometimes you just sit for a long time waiting to get everything done. That's why you have no schedule. You just got to go and, be happy with the process.
I feel like
Uh,
you could be a concierge, a back, sit back home in Olympia and give people best practices. Okay, if you're going to be there on this day, highly recommend that you go to this
Yeah.
embassy.
um, one more question. I don't want to monopolize the time, but the motorcycle itself, whether it meets whatever local regulations, requirements are there, how did you run into any situation where that was a problem? Or
The situation for that would only China. And there they require you have to get a plate, a Chinese license plate. To do that, you have to take a test to get a driver's license. And so China's like nearly impossible. But every other country, there was never anything about the bike itself. Yeah, it's registered. What they care about is that it's registered, that you have a current registration. So they don't care what country it's from, but just have a current registration. Yeah. But they do check the VIN number. A lot of border crossings, they check very meticulously checking the VIN number to the paperwork and it can take hours.
and and the insurance, was there any?
Well, many countries I went through without insurance, but some required it. So like Austria, I had to stop and get, Europe, where Europe actually they have something called a green card, and it's an insurance card that covers like 27 countries, including Russia is included in that too. Um, Belarus and strange countries that you wouldn't think it would, but it's all you pay one fee. It's very expensive. Like I was just in Europe for and Scandinavia for a month, and for 1 month it was $280 just for liability insurance. So it's very expensive in Europe, but it's worth it. Um, Going through South America, Central America, usually at the border as part of the crossing thing, you have to go over to some kiosk. You have to buy the insurance, and they only take cash. So before that, you have to go to a kiosk to get cash. Takes forever, and it's always hot and humid. Guaranteed misery.
Well, another question, if that's not, no. Did you ever run into any, well, how did you service your bike? Or are there any issues where you had to go get it
Well,
taken care of? And that
yeah,
was challenging.
I'm not a mechanic, so I purposely bought a brand new bike before starting this journey. And every time I got to a city that had a Triumph dealership, even if the bike seemed perfectly normal, I would take it in and say, make it new again.
Well,
And so I spent a lot of time at dealerships getting service, and I spent a lot of money on service, but I never broke down. The only thing that really happened to me was two things. In Turkey, it started sounding strange. You know your engine, right? You know the sound. And it just started sounding a little off. So I took it into the dealership in Ankara, and sure enough, the alternator was going bad. So I never broke down, but I ended up having to wait there 10 days for an alternator to be shipped in from England. And so, but I made good use of the time. I worked on getting visas for Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. And so I made good use of the time. And Turkey's fantastic anyway. So, but then the other problem I had was with tires, and that was in Tajikistan on the Pamir Highway. Have you any of you heard of the Pamir Highway?
I've, I've seen pictures and descriptions.
It's not a highway. It's it's a it's a road that was paved probably 100 years ago and it's never been touched since. So you got some pavement with huge potholes or some unpaved with patches of pavement, which are like plateaus. And it's the roughest ride you've ever had. But my tires got worn thin. And when I ended up in um, Karog on 2 days through the Pamir Highway, went to the hotel, came out the next morning, and both tires were flat. So I took him to a little guy sitting in a little stall on the side of the road that changes tires. And I says, could you check for the hole? So he takes off the tires and he puts them in water with soap, and there's 1,000 holes. Like basically there's just no tire left. It's more like mesh. And I thought, oh my God, I mean, I'm going to be month here waiting for tires to be flown in or something. He says, no, there's a hotel up on the hill over there. Go up there and see if they have tires. And I said, why would a hotel have tires? I go up there. This guy's got like a barn stacked floor to ceiling with tires. And apparently, a lot of riders like me carry a spare set with them. And halfway through the Premier Highway, they just change them, whether they're good or bad. They just have new set. They're going to change them because it's really rough on the tires. And not only did they have a tire that fit my bike, they had the exact same model. Unbelievable coincidence. And I asked the guy how much, and he says, well, how much can you pay? And I said, well, I mean, they were worth $1,000 to me at that point. But I said, $20. And he says, oh, okay. So he gave me the two tires. I got them put on the bike and off I went. And I got all the way to India on those tires.
Wow.
I just put in the chat when I was active duty in Iraq, and I was a translator. One of the first words I learned in Iraqi dialect was bincharchi. It's actually a Turkish word, but it's the tire repair guy. And the tire repair guy in our small town was also the butcher. So you never know who's got a shed full of tires out back.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
So if there was what country have you there's 60 countries you haven't been to yet. What is the one country that you're like, man, I have to hit that one?
Well, I have 34 countries to go. There's 193 countries, UN countries, but I've been to a few that are kind of counted, so 195. So I have like 34 countries to go. And I plan to do about 10 more next year in Africa. They're all in Africa, with the exception of North Korea, Pakistan, Syria, and Kuwait. No, not Kuwait. I've been to Kuwait, to what's the Iraq.
Iraq.
Yeah. So other than those,
Well, I can show you where to get tires.
yeah, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
So
How about the Pacific Islands?
I've been through every one of them, but backpacking. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Been to every
not
one
on
of
your
them.
motorcycle.
Not on the motorcycle, no. That would have been very difficult.
Yeah.
Cost prohibitive and prohibitive
So
too.
the African countries is interesting. Those are massive countries, right? To be
Well,
able to traverse.
and it's very, very difficult and dangerous. Now, the ones I haven't been to are the difficult and dangerous ones. But Madagascar, like to answer your question, really, Madagascar is the and Yemen. There's an island,
Hmm.
Socotra. Socotra is an island, Yemen island in the Indian Ocean that I really want to go there. Very unique place that hardly anybody goes to.
Island hopping in the Horn of Africa is generally ill-advised, sir.
Yes, yeah, it's a tough one to get to.
Yeah.
So,
That is such an awesome adventure. It was surprising to hear you say that you'd been to Antarctica, but I guess it makes sense if you were able to hop
oh
across
yeah,
Anatolia and
yeah, it was easy. It was that was a no-brainer, right? Once you get as far as Ushuaia,
it's
uh,
just right there. It's just right there.
yeah. But now I live in Argentina, so it's really I'll go again someday if I can.
So are you currently in Argentina? Are you calling in from
No,
Argentina?
I'm in Olympia now. It's summer here and it's winter there. So
Yeah.
I spend the summers here in Olympia and then
That's some extreme snowbirding, sir. Extreme
yes, it
snowbirding.
is. Yeah. When I met my wife, I thought, this could be a good deal. I get summer twice a year.
Okay. I think a lot of us do the same thing, but it's like Michigan to Florida.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you have a favorite place that you've ridden in the States
You know, wow.
or Canada? We got North America covered.
Yeah,
So,
the US has more good riding than Canada, um, for sure, in my opinion. But Northern California, Northern California, the Sierras, just some fantastic roads there.
yeah.
Some fantastic roads going from like what's that? Oh, now I'm drawing a blank. The up north and along I-5, there's the main city there before you get to the Oregon border, and then
Crescent
over there
City.
to the no, over to the beach. So like from I-5, there's a town near I-5, and then over to Crescent City. The nice roads there. Yeah.
I've
I
never
went,
ridden out that way. George, you're in Sacramento, right? Just
yeah,
outside
I'm
Sacramento.
fortunate to ride the Sierras almost every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky you. Yeah.
So you've got a Triumph now. Is that your dream bike? If somebody would say, "What's your
Well,
dream bike?" What would that be?
it's the only thing I've ever, I'm not a bike. I don't like cars. I don't like motors. I'm not into that. I just like,
It's a means to an end.
I mean, like I said, it never even dawned on me to ride a motorcycle until a month before I was planning to I quit my job. I was going to backpack around the world. And Um, my friend had a bike, a Triumph, and he needed repairs at the shop, so needed me to give him a ride back home. So I went to the shop, talked to the sales, was just chatting with the sales guy while my friend was talking to the maintenance guy, and he said, "You should get a motorcycle." So there I was. 2 weeks later, I had bought a motorcycle. I took a 2-day course, and then I took off, and I didn't turn back. I couldn't get off it.
Wow.
That's like you're kind of on the extreme side of things, sir. Like you got the extreme snowboarding, the extreme YOLO. I'm gonna go ride my motorcycle across that I've never been on across the world.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you learn quick when you
What's
just take
next? I feel
off.
like that sounds like there's gonna be a new adventure because you've almost got all the countries checked off.
Yeah, I do keep a bike in Europe. So right now I have a bike in Germany. So if you ever would like, a lot of people will go over to Europe and do a tour. They'll sign up for a tour and ride with others, and everything's included. And I can't imagine traveling that way. Um, so I do it by myself. And if you would like someday, and if there's anyone in your group or people that, more than one, I mean, in your group that are interested in learning how to go to Europe on your own, and do trips. I would love to do a present. It wouldn't be a prepared presentation like today, but I could talk for hours on how you can do that and have a absolutely amazing trip and at much lower cost, probably.
That
I,
sounds great. My
I would
husband
be
and I,
very
when we
interested.
Yeah, me too. My husband and I, when we go riding, a lot of times I'll say, okay, we're going to meet at John Cram's house, which is, 2.5 hours from here. I'm going to leave at 11, whatever time you leave. We'll just meet there because I like to just be alone with my thoughts and my music when I ride. So that sounds great. Go to Europe.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I love riding in Europe, and there's no reason you need to pay to go with a group unless you just like to be around other people and a lot, and would otherwise be alone. But I like riding alone, and
So
yeah,
you store your bike there? You that's
I
what you do?
do. I do. I keep it there in Europe, and there's a guy in Heidelberg that has a business that's for that. And
Oh,
yeah, if you ever want to have me back to talk with you about that, if there's enough interest in your group for that kind of thing, I'd be more than happy to
Well,
give you.
Rotary International Convention next year is in Barcelona. So
Oh, really?
maybe there's something we can plot and scheme that involves motorcycles through the Basque region, and maybe
Oof.
I have an in with all the wineries. So,
Oh,
we
there
want
you
to make
go.
that happen.
now
I've already signed up to go, even though they haven't got that released yet.
I was gonna say I don't think they've released that. You get special in there.
No, September. This one's odd, this one, because they're late in the game
Well,
for
that's
being
good.
assigned. So it'll be September when they actually have the sign up.
It'd
Yeah.
be,
now
it's in September next year?
No,
It's in June.
September is when they're going to allow you to start signing up.
When is it
Normally
actually
you
going to
sign
be?
Normally the sign up is open at the immediate international convention, but the booth there was they were taking all your information so that you were going to get a notice when it was available.
Do you
But
know what month the
Yeah, it's
actual
the
convention is?
it'll be June,
26th through the 30th of
late
June.
June this year.
Oh
Yeah,
my, it's
now
hot then.
late June.
Very hot then.
It is hot then. It is hot then. That's when we went that time a year or 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and we went up through the Basque region. We were very happy to get up north.
yeah, not the
Um,
optimal time.
yeah.
it would be nice to organize a ride after the convention, maybe in July.
Yeah, or maybe before, where it might be, you might get a chance of cooler weather.
Slightly, yeah.
So Amanda, you rode through the Basque region?
No, no, no. We drove. My husband's in the wine industry, and he was in
Ah,
import and export, and so he represented quite a few wineries through that region. So we got to do some
okay.
cool stuff.
Well, if you do arrange one of those, whether I join you or not, I can certainly give you the roads to take.
Hey, we can. I would love to take everybody. The roads that we took were fantastic, and then just randomly in the middle of nowhere in the Basque region, there's a huge Roman amphitheater that's been excavated, and there's frescoes on the floors and everything. It's really cool. So
If you do go to my website, themanicnomad.com, I don't keep it up. The articles and stuff are old and but I do have all my routes, maps of in each country, like
that's cool.
Kazakhstan and India and all the countries, separated mostly by country or larger region if they're small countries. But if you're curious, you can see the routes that I took.
That's fantastic. I think that's actually something this particular group may use quite a bit.
Right.
At
So
least
and
Jerry,
all
because
the
he
other
you'll never
Rotary
know what
clubs I
country he's in.
present to, they don't care about that, but
Oh no, no, we definitely do.
so yeah.
Right. Well, what any other final questions as we come to our time to the end of our time together tonight, friends?
Well, Dave, I thought you did a wonderful job. And
Thank you.
yeah, I'm interested in riding with you next year in Europe.
Well, my trip next year
Yeah.
is in September, October to from Germany through Switzerland, over to Balkans, or through Italy over to Sicily and up Corsica, or Sardinia and Corsica, and then back up through Western Italy through Switzerland and back to Germany. So that's the trip.
Wow, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Who's on board?
It's good as
I'm on board.
I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted as it comes together.
I've ridden with Dave, and he's a wonderful person to ride with.
Oh,
Little
that's Roy
insane.
down there. Oh, that's
He,
oh,
It's
sorry,
right.
everybody. I don't have my reading glasses on. That's my friend Roy.
Well, I
Yeah.
was just gonna thank him for coming off mute so I could call him out and make him introduce himself. So,
Yeah,
Roy.
I gave him the link but he wasn't there when I started the presentation, so I didn't see him. Hey, Roy.
We had one other person that we didn't recognize a name from, Sam Lancer. Is Sam Lancer a friend of yours as well, Dave?
No, but
Oh, well,
Sam,
we had a usurper.
Sam's a friend of mine.
Oh, good.
He's
Good, good.
from Maryland.
Good stuff. Roy, where do you hail from? Are you up in
Yeah, I'm
the
up in Washington State, north of Olympia in on Whidbey Island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love it up here. It's
That doesn't
fantastic.
stink. That's awesome.
I
You come up.
used to be on Mercer Island, teaching there. I lived in Bellevue, and Dave and I were living in the same complex in condominiums there. We both had a complex, and our balconies kind of faced each other. And one day I was out there, and we said hi, and we got together, and ever since we've been travel buddies.
Those are the best
And
kinds of friends.
yeah, it is. And he knew I liked to ride motorcycles. I didn't have the best motorcycles. I didn't take long trips or anything like that. I just like to just go for a ride here and there. And when he was telling you guys that he was coming back from um Atlanta area, he was moving back to Washington State, and he says, Roy, I quit my job and I'm going, we've been talking about this, traveling around the world, and I'm going to do it. And I said, no way, you're not going to do it. Yeah, come meet me, and we'll go through the national parks, and we'll talk about it. Because we had done several trips together, like to Hawaii, Costa Rica, Mexico, and we both like to do adventure sports like diving and whatnot. And so I meet him in New Mexico, and we start driving in his vehicle, and enjoying the national parks. And he's telling me that he's going to put a backpack on and he's going to do it. And I should step up and do it too. Now, this is what when was this? About June? And I'm a teacher, so I said, heck yeah, I'll meet you over there, but I can't just go on a trip with you. That's insane. I have to actually, rent my place out, let them know that I need a sabbatical, do all this planning. I don't even have a motorcycle for it. So at the end, I mean, it wasn't even the motorcycle yet. And I just couldn't do it. And then we got to Las Vegas, and that's when I said, Dave, I need to just split off. I want to ride my motorcycle. I had left it in Las Vegas. And he dropped me off at that shop, and it got worked on. And I said, Dave, get over here. You got to check out these bikes. And he goes, no, I'm not really interested. Oh, just come over and check them out. He came over. He looked at the bikes and goes, okay, and then decided to talk to the owner. How long were you talking to the owner, Dave?
Yeah, a couple hours. I think I told him the story. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you were talking to him for about an
but
hour plus.
I think they're
And
running short on time, Roy. I think their meeting
oh,
ends now.
That's all good. That's all
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
Oh, that's
Didn't
awesome,
want to
Roy.
keep
I
you
love that you
over.
guys.
yeah. And so we got the bike fixed, and I said, Dave, why don't you just ride my bike? And I did the first stretch, which through the desert. Nobody likes that. I'm kind of thinking, okay, if I get him on that bike in the mountainous regions of the Sierras,
You're gonna
he
get
could
him
feel
hooked.
going to the curves, get the best part of everything. And sure enough, we switched, and I drove his vehicle, and he rode all the way to Yosemite, and he had a great time. He calls me 2 weeks later, says, Roy, I'm buying a motorcycle. I'm going to ride on the motorcycle down to Argentina. And I just about lost it.
That's awesome. Hey,
How
it's
could
always
he
good to have
take my
a friend with
dream,
positive influence on you.
and then I have to watch this guy for a whole year living a dream that I wanted to do? you know
Oh,
And
he just
so
went in, he cleared the path for you, Roy.
he got me so passionate about it. I could barely look at his post though, to be honest. And through the jealousy, very envious.
You
But I
guys,
managed to get a leave of absence for the next year, and then I met him in Europe, and we did part of the ride together, and it was amazing. So he's a great person to ride with, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. Not always
you
saw
guys
eye to
should
eye, but
recruit.
hey,
You guys should recruit Roy
I was
because
just
he's
gonna
not
say,
a
it sounds
Rotarian.
like,
He's not a Rotarian, but he rides motorcycles.
not a
And
Rotarian
a
yet.
a group that meets by Zoom is probably right down his alley. So, Roy, give him your contact info. Put it in
Yeah.
the
Put it in the
put
chat,
me.
Roy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put your contact info in the chat, Roy. We'll make sure you, at the very least, we'll make sure you know who the speakers are and what we're up to and when we're doing rides and
yeah,
you can join us.
maybe I'll join. Who knows? But yeah,
Uh,
I was for the high school. I was the for not Rotary. I mean the
Interact.
Interact. Thank you so much. It was the Interact Club, and I
Oh,
did that for
nice.
a few years. And the Rotarians up here were wonderful.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate everything that you guys do. And this is also a wonderful group. I can imagine getting together and riding bikes together. So all right, it was a pleasure to meet you. I'll put the chat up, or yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you again. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. You're welcome to join us every Tuesday, any Tuesday that you'd like.
Okay.
If you want us to keep you informed, I try to keep up the Facebook. I've been bad about it lately. I try to keep up the Facebook with who our speakers are and stuff. But if you ever have a question and you want to hear what we've got going on, please feel free to reach out.
Very good. And if you'd ever like me to come back and talk about something else, I'd be happy to.
Absolutely perfect. Appreciate that. All right. Jerry, would you like to lead us in the four-way test to end the meeting tonight?
Sure. Before we test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the
Is it the
truth?
truth?
Second, is it fair
Is
to
it
all
fair to all
concerned?
concerned?
Third, will it
Will
build
it build
goodwill and
goodwill
better
and better
friendship?
friendships?
And fourth, or will it be
Will
beneficial
it be
to all
beneficial to
concerned?
all concerned?
And fifth, will it be
Will it be
fun?
fun?
Is it fun?
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Thank you very much, Dave. Great to meet you, Roy.
Thank you.
Reminder, next week is the meeting with the district governor. So please come with lots of questions. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.